Good evening. Welcome to another episode of your Footy Fantasy podcast show. With me today is Saliba's uncle and Prince AY. They're both Arsenal fans, and I think they're kind of happy today, but at the same time, they might have thrown the title race, might have thrown that title away. Well, we'll see. But judging from where I am, Arsenal is not in position to drop too many points, especially given the context of last season. But I know Arsenal fans are kind of happy about the performance today. So before we start, uh, viewers, please hit the follow button. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. On YouTube and Instagram, we are at Footy Fantasy. That's FOOTIE FANTASY. On Twitter, however, we are at Footy 80 Fantasy. That's FOOTIE ADFANTASY. So we're jumping straight in. We're going straight into the Arsenal Man City game. So I'll start with you, Saliba's uncle. How did your boys perform? Do you think Saliba had Haaland, or was it Gabriel that had Haaland in his pocket today? Let me hear from you. What do you think? Saliba's uncle.
Yeah, I think yeah, so it was I think it was a defensive masterclass from the boys today, especially from um from the triangle. So I like to call them the triangle. So Saliba, Gabriel, and Declan Rice. So the two centre backs, Saliba and Gabriel, they were very, very solid. They worked as a pair, and they knew who they needed to take out, and that person was Haaland. So they frustrated him all game. They kept him quiet. When they needed to go strong on him, they went strong. When they needed to back off, they backed off. And he got completely neutralized. Same thing they did to him at the Emirates. So it was a job well done from the boys.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Hmm.
So those were your standout performers, or do you have any other person? I mean, from both sides, some be too Arsenal centric. Who were your
Yeah,
standout performers in the game?
today, like we obviously decided to be conservative, and I always say most of the time, like even under Arsene Wenger, I think the last time we won at the Etihad was in 2015, January 2015. We didn't play like a typical Arsene Wenger team. We were a bit more conservative. We didn't go gung ho. We had Francis Coquelin, and Santi Cazorla in midfield. So we were very, very balanced on and off the ball. And that was how we were able to get away with like that 2-0 win then. And even when you look at now, last season, obviously, we lost home and away. Away from home last season, we tried to play and we got slapped. You guys know what happened there. But this season, Charity Shield, we were very measured, very, very pragmatic. We focused on the opposition and focused on what we needed to do off the ball. And it paid dividends because we didn't lose and we had to get that psychological advantage back in our favor. So winning that game helped us at the Emirates where we were very pragmatic again. It was almost like a new game. And then we got the break, Martinelli, go, game over, right? But the goal again was do not lose. Today, I think the goal again was do not lose. You can't afford because this team is still young. The manager is still young. We're still learning from our mistakes. We're still building. And, we don't want a situation where, and especially the way the media, you know, reports on Arsenal, like they can just literally talk about this game as, Arsenal blowing it, like Arsenal bottling it again, even though they're facing the best team in the world or, one of the strongest team in Europe. So it was obvious that people were waiting to write stuff about this game, but Ateta knew what you needed to do, which was do not lose. If you get something, take it. But if you don't go gung ho. Don't go fishing for stuff that might lead you to, throw your back door open, and then you have Haaland and KDB just ghosting in and scoring goals. Yeah.
Fair enough. That sounds good. eh, Prince Edward, do you want to add something? Do you agree with him? Do you disagree?
I mean, it's pretty much said everything. For me, it's the case of knowing when to pick your battles, right? If you go to Man City and you decide to go toe to toe, you can't play Man City toe to toe for 90 minutes, right? And I'll just borrow Toby's phrase. First half he called it the holding phase. So basically, just keep everything tight. Do not overcommit. If the chances come, take it. If it doesn't come, don't force it. Right. So for the first 45 minutes, I think that's what we're doing. Just keeping our places, just keeping everything tight. Do not give anybody space. I noticed how what's his name? KDB was finding it difficult to find space. He had to start going to the wings, and I'm like, okay, it's working then. Just don't concede. And then second half, I think we try to go for it. We just missing in the just the final part. And for instance, Odegaard, you could tell that it was really tired because that guy ran his socks off, right? And then when he got to the pass, final part where it was doing, just put one pass in, you could tell that there are no more legs to hit the pass correctly. The one time he finally got the pass right, all Trossard had to do was just square that ball down to Martinelli. It was just a game of who blinks first, right? And I think in defense we had our own, right? Haaland, KDB, Doku, Grealish. I mean, even when both of them were coming in, I was actually more scared of Grealish because he knows how to travel with the ball. And for me, I was like, if we can keep Grealish quiet, Doku is just going to dance around and just, Doku is just going to be Doku, right? I mean, I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but that's Doku, spin ton, and the end product. Apart from the first 5 games this season, where he was really, really, excellent and really productive, I haven't seen anything much from Doku. There's no difference between Doku now and Saint Alan Maximan. I'm not trying to shade, but basically they dance around the ball, but the end product is just missing. So for Doku, I wasn't really scared. But apart from that, I think the game was well balanced. There were just a little bit of chances here and there. I don't think we had any clear cut chances apart from the one that Jesus missed, where Saka put the ball and it just missed. And yeah, if you'd ask me, I would say it's a strong 1 point. I mean, like you were saying that maybe we've thrown the league to Liverpool. I would say no. It's still a three-horse race. Anything can still happen. But I think this game in itself, if we look at it in isolation, in our running, it's the hardest game of them all. And not losing this game would probably have a psychological knock on to going into our next game and say, okay, you know what? We went to the best team in the world and we came back home with something. And if you look at the bigger picture as well, 4 points from 6 from Man City this season. I mean, it's improvement. Last season we were like, we're beaten into pieces like kids. Now, when we go to Etihad, I'm sure Haaland had a very good day today with Gabi. You could see them at the end, like going and one thing again that most people will not point out is I actually like the way Anthony Taylor led the game flow today. Just reminded me of that old school. You guys kill yourself. You're not dead yet. Carry on. And it kind of kept that game very, very interesting. Anyway, because I was like, what's going on here? Like, why is this fast? But then I was like, you know what? It's probably just good to allow the game play out itself than to just
Over
allow them
refereed.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the one. Over refereeing the game. It was just, you had that old school vibe. Like, okay, it's going to be very physical. It's going to be very win your duels. If you can't win your duels, get out of the way. And you could tell that there was really no time wasted or anything like that because everyone was like, okay, this guy is not on our side today, so we have to carry on. If you foul, move on. So it was a very I'm pretty sure except you those ones in India that staying up to make sure that Arsenal lose. I mean, you can't get your 1 hour back. So that's just that's how I'm just going to end my point. So
Oh, so people from someone from India was stayed up just to wait for India.
no, one man is one particular.
I know. That's why I said someone, not some people. I know who you're talking about. I think he's a doctor or something. But you know,
His
I
stays up.
think
I'm pretty sure it was like maybe 3 a.m.
it's
before
maybe
it.
now. So now he's brooding because he can't go back to sleep. He would have had a
Mm,
very nice lead if Arsenal had lost. I mean, to be fair, I think it was also it was a very tight game, and I think no one deserved to win it. It was just too defensive. City have lacked some bite this season. I don't know why. I mean, they've scored a lot of goals, but they've lacked certain bite. They've been not the most efficient attacking wise. Defensively, they've been good, weirdly, but not as dangerous as you expected City to be.
yeah,
So,
just to cut you short, I think
mm,
that is because two, they're missing Gundogan and Mahrez. There's a way Gundogan plays for Man City that you just know that last 10, 20 minutes, once Gundogan is playing, is like you just ghost, and before you know it, is the third man in the box is there. So
that's right.
losing Gundogan is losing at least 15 goals guaranteed. You know, taking out Mares too, and the guys that they brought in haven't actually hit the stride like the way Mares was doing as well as Gundogan. So I think that in its own sense that's kind of taking the sting out of Man City and now trying to find different ways of or different way of replicating that 15 goals that they've lost in Gundogan and Mares.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, especially Gundogan. I think Mahrez the past 2 seasons has been an in and out. Sometimes from the outside, he's on the outside looking in. Sometimes he's in the team. He's been one of the guys that this guy would love to rotate. Pep that always loved to rotate him. Sometimes playing KDB on in that position. Sometimes moves forward and there. He's been kind of moving Mahrez around. So I think Mahrez left because I think he had achieved what he's supposed to achieve. City's biggest miss to me this season is losing Grealish to injury because, as you pointed out, Doku hasn't been as effective as Grealish. And to be fair, Grealish went through the same kind of growing pains when he came to City. If you remember when he was, all flair, no end product. But last season he came into it. Then getting that injured a lot this season, I think, has affected that. Because there's another thing he does, which is if he isolates that fullback one on one, he's beating him. And Haaland only needs half a chance. He passes well, he feeds good balls into the box. Doku is still going through that phase of where he's trying to let me beat this guy, let me beat this guy and leave him on the floor. Grealish is no longer in that phase. Grealish wants to beat you once. He wants to beat you once and throw the ball in and create a chance. So that's what I noticed with City this season. Yeah, someone saying there's an echo from me. I can hear that. I don't
Yeah,
know
I think
why.
yeah, I think an echo is coming from
Does
Maybe it's
anyone?
my
Is there still an echo now?
no.
Okay, yeah, I think it's from Prince AY.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so someone left a comment, very snacky comment. So I've wrote that it's a Facebook user. It goes, Taylor is typically the Gunner's soft man, but officiated well today, though.
Yeah, he was he was decent. I think and this is what really frustrates us with Premier League officials. I think some of them, I mean, Anthony Taylor is one of the best in the country, so obviously they had to pick him for this game. But at times he can be a bit erratic himself. But today, I think he decided that, I am not going to be the story of this game. I am not going to make this game about myself. This game is going to be about football. And that's how to officiate the game. That's the right way to do it. Like, unless you absolutely have to step in, then you step in. If you don't need to step in, do not insert yourself in the game. And he got it because he knew Rodri was going to be, there will be antics. Jorginho was on the pitch. These are masters of dark arts. Jorginho, Rodri, Martin Odegaard was going to be putting pressure. Kovacic was playing. So he knew the game that was going to be played. He knew and he anticipated it. And he did a brilliant job by getting those players to focus on the game. Stop asking me to dish out yellow cards. Just focus on the game. And it was also a perfect game for like deploying that kind of strategy because we didn't have like dangerous tackles or people trying, because there are some games where you might need to sort of manage it, dish out a few yellow cards because there'll be like two-footed challenges coming up here and there. But this one it wasn't like that. It was just a case of people trying to be sneaky, trying to game the referee, trying to stop the press and stuff like. So it wasn't bad. So he got it, and he made sure that we are not talking about officiating negatively now. So yeah, kudos to him.
No, that's fair enough. Fair enough. That's he deserves it today, but I think that's the minimum for rest. Though, so you shouldn't be praising rest for doing the bare minimum. He wasn't excellent. He didn't do. There wasn't any need for anything special. If you get my point, so it's gotten to that stage now where we're praising rest for doing the bare minimum, which I understand because the rest of this season have been such a drag on the sport. Prince why I want to go back to you and start with you. I was saying something about Liverpool having the edge now. I guess I said that because Liverpool are on top. They're 2 points ahead of Arsenal, if I'm correct, or is it 1 point now? So and then City is a further point behind. Let me look at the table quickly. Yes, they're 2 points ahead on 67, Arsenal on 65, and City on 64. Arsenal, of course, has a superior goal difference with 46. Liverpool has 40, and City has 35. So looking into the running, we can look at the games that each team has left. But what do you think, Prince AY? Who do you think has the edge or the advantage in this title running? Because it's not just Liverpool and Arsenal. It's City, Liverpool,
Oh, you were muted. What was the last thing you said? You
I
are
said,
on
who do you
mute.
think?
Okay.
No, yeah, I said, who do you think has the edge or the advantage in the title running among those three teams, Arsenal, Liverpool, and City?
I mean, it depends on how you're looking at it. I mean, if you're looking at it in isolation, say right now, based on the table, you'd say Liverpool has an edge. But if you're looking at it from previous season, how the title have been won, you realize that sometimes it's always good to be chasing in the last couple of games because it takes the pressure off of you. For instance, take Arsenal last season. We were top of the league for 200 and something days, 290 something days, which is the longest. But as you edge closer to the end of the season, the pressure mounts for whoever is on top or whoever is on top of the league. The pressure mount, and they say pressure burst pipes, right? So even Liverpool have never been in a title race before. I know people find that very strange, but they really haven't been in a title race before. This is the first time I would say they're in an actual title race. The only time they won it was in the COVID season. Before that, there was a year, I think 2016, 17, I can't remember the exact year. They blew 11-point lead as well. Other times, when I say title race, basically where it's been head to head, like very very close like this, right? They haven't actually been in one. So as and listen, so if you're looking at it from that standpoint, I would say there's really not a significant edge as point. But even though Liverpool is in front right now, anything can still happen, right? If you look at it, City are usually their best in the last 10 games. City can go ahead now and win their last remaining games and still win the league. Liverpool, on the other hand, even though they have on paper the easiest to run in, it's the way it's looking now from outside looking in it as if they're depending on last minute winners or something like that. I mean, I could be wrong, but it's looking that way from the outside, saying that there's this pressure that they have to win, they must win. All the games is like okay, end to end. It's not controlled the way Arsenal and City play, like playing with so much conviction and confidence. It's more like it's very hard to explain to put into words. But what I'm trying to say is not being in a title race before with Liverpool, even though they've won the league before, is different from how being second with only just 2 points behind, and then City just looking at, so you know what, if we win our last 10 games, there's still a chance there. There are still some dodgy games for Liverpool to play. There are dodgy games for Arsenal to play, and I know that between now and the end of the season, all three teams will still drop point at some point. Who drops
Bros.
the most points? Yeah, who drops the most point? That's is where the question. That's where you beg the question: who's going to drop the most points? Who's going to blink first? but I
Bros,
don't
you wrote
think
a
Liverpool.
5-page essay and you haven't answered the question. Who has the advantage in the title running? Who do you think
I
has the
did
advantage?
already.
No,
I
you're
did already. I
saying
mean, that's what I'm saying. That if we're looking at it in isolation right now, based on the table,
mhm. I'm not
Liverpool
saying
has the
if
advantage.
I'm not giving you conditions. I'm asking you how are
Mhm.
you looking at it? Give us
How am I
that
looking at
answer.
it?
Not all this explaining it could be Liverpool because what you just told us was it could be Liverpool, it could be Arsenal, it could be Man City.
Mhm.
Who whoever wins the most games and who drops the least points will win. I mean, that's like saying
I'm, 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 I'm
if my
basically
dad
giving you the
if my
caveat.
mom
Okay,
was a
I'm
man,
going to
should
be
be my
straight.
dad. That's what you just said.
Okay, who has the advantage right now? Liverpool. Let's leave it like that. Advantage
Okay.
Liverpool.
Okay, good. I mean, I'm not saying don't explain, but you explain, but at least hit the nail on the head. If you get what I'm saying. So Saliba's uncle, I'll go to you. Same question. Who has that edge right now? Looking at the running to the title, who do you think has the advantage?
I actually wanted to say Manchester United, but I was like, no, let me not try and poke the bear, right? So because I know the bond, the bond tie guy. So I think Prince Prince AY is spot on. It's Liverpool. But I was watching the game today and it was interesting. The game against Brighton today, and it was interesting how they didn't get that third goal and nerves set in. It was very surprising watching that. They were clearly nervous. Did you guys see it?
I saw some of it.
Did you see
I
the
watched the
last
game.
10 minutes?
Yeah,
Did you watch the
the
last
last
ten
10 minutes.
minutes?
Yeah.
Did you see
Brighton
how
just
nervous they
lacked a
were?
little bit of cutting edge. They lacked a little bit of
Yeah,
cutting.
they
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 did.
just didn't. Yeah, they didn't have a. They didn't know how to score. Basically, they didn't know how to really. Yeah, cutting edge. I think that's the right term to use. They, there was no clear pathway for how they were going to do damage, but they were very nervous, and Brighton sort of noticed that. So that's interesting because that's going to happen. So for me, I think, oh, that is going to happen again. So for me, I think the team that will win the league is the team that does the best job in managing those nervy moments. We had our Southampton moment last season. We had we almost had that Bournemouth moment last season. We've had our West Ham this season, Fulham. So we are going to have those moments in the last 9 games, and the team that does the best job at managing them will win the league.
I'm beginning to think two of you guys have watched too many football manager interviews because you're answering these questions like football managers with not answers. Like you're
Because that
sliding the question to one side
because
and putting so
that's
much
just what it
context to
is.
it.
Yeah, because that's just what it is,
So
basically.
give me
Because
your real opinion. Okay, if I asked you, forget who has the advantage. Let me put it this
yeah,
other way.
uh-huh.
Who do you think will win? Because that's what that question is. Who do you think will win the league?
Who do I think will win the league?
Pick one of those three.
I'll say Arsenal. I'll say
Okay.
Arsenal
So
because
that means Arsenal has the edge.
no, I don't want
That's what you really think.
I don't want people clipping me up, right? So
Oh.
but the reason I would say Arsenal is statistically this is the best team in the league statistically, right? So in terms of form, last 8 games, highest number of points, best defense, best attack, best goals difference. They've beaten Man City this season. We've taken 4 points off Man City this season, taking 4 points off Liverpool this season. Man City haven't scored a goal against Arsenal this season. I can't remember the last time that happened. I cannot. I don't think anyone on this platform can remember. Who can actually remember the last time Man City didn't score a league goal in a season against Arsenal? Clean sheet, home and away, right? And so if you look at what we've done so far in the last 29 games, we've demonstrated this ability to do it again. Well, what do I mean? To sustain a a title race. We've done it again, and we are more experienced now. We are better off the ball with Declan Rice coming in. Um, so we are a problem for Liverpool and Man City because they just can't beat us. They cannot beat Arsenal. So if you are trying to win the league and your biggest opposition has beaten you and you can't even touch them, how do you then claim that you have a better chance of winning? So people saying Arsenal might win, they have a case.
Let me answer that question you just asked with some historical context. In the title races of 99, 2000, 2001, there was something very weird that used to go on because I remember that very clearly. Arsenal used to beat Manchester United all the time, but never won the league. I mean, they won in 98, but they didn't win in 99, 2000, 2001. Why? Because Manchester United would beat the rest of the league comfortably. Like I remember one of those seasons, must have been 99. Arsenal beat Manchester United 3-0 in one of those games. So what I'm saying is that it's a league. It's not a league of Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City where they play themselves. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Arsenal, but it's not really also a great achievement to say Liverpool, Man City have not beaten us because Man City has not beaten any other team in the top five either. I mean, they will have two more chances. They'll have to play Aston Villa and Spurs, but they haven't beat, especially the Spurs game where they were ahead twice and they couldn't beat them. So using that as a plus, it's great because it shows that Arsenal actually has the edge, direct edge over Liverpool and City. But if I spread it over the table, I also think Arsenal has a little bit of edge. Why I say a little bit of an edge is because when you look at it, it means Liverpool have won more points against the rest of the league than Arsenal and, and City have because they have a 2 point lead gap or a 2 point lead. I think Arsenal, in my opinion, has an advantage or an edge for two reasons. One is Liverpool, like you pointed out, you said it, they're not so smooth. They're not as good as the other two teams when you really look at them, when the way they play. They almost play a game of all risk, all risk, take the most risk, get the most rewards. But the problem with those kind of games is that towards the end of the season, when teams are fighting for their positions, not necessarily fighting for the league, they will not take so many risks. So you won't find so much space. And those teams will be very good to hit you on the counter. And we're in the Premier League. Some teams, once they've scored, that's it, it's game over. Arsenal will not give you that chance. Man City might not be that good as they were, but they're also still very hard to score against. Liverpool, on the other hand, might have the it's not might they do have the weakest defense of those three teams. So in terms of defense, I think Liverpool do not have it, but they also have some funny games coming up. Liverpool has to play Manchester United again. And Liverpool have struggled to beat Manchester United this season, but which I think is a function of them disgracing Manchester United over the past two seasons. So those players are fired up for Liverpool. They do not care. They don't seem to care about any other team. They just want to make sure that team does not beat them again. And Liverpool might have that in their head. Oh, we're going to beat them. We beat them all the time. So those little things might be a problem. City has Spurs. They have Villa, which are not easy teams to play against. Arsenal doesn't seem to have any of these teams. Arsenal has only Manchester United. I think they have Spurs. Yeah, they have Spurs and Manchester United. But those are teams they can win, especially with Spurs having all this injury issues. I know. What's his name? Postelogu. I can't say his name well. The
Posta no
Spurs
clue.
Posteloglou. Okay, he's the Spurs manager. He's a very brave guy, but bravery doesn't win you points.
Postacoglu. Ange Postacoglu.
Okay, let's
No,
just call him
Ange
Ange.
Posta no clue. There's a reason why it's called Ange Posta no clue. Leave it like that. Continue.
No clue. Oh, okay, okay, yeah, that
You
makes
can't
sense.
call him no clue. The man is about to maybe get into the Champions League, but anyway,
That's what they call him on Twitter. They say Miss Posta no clue. High line for life, mate.
no, that should be Ten Hag's name. That should be Ten Hag's name. But let's move on. Now I'm going to since I have two Arsenal fans here, I'm going to get a little bit personal now. Ice Cube once said, "Greed gave me everything that I need. How are you going to handle all these brothers that I feed?" So he was trying to say greed is a good thing, but is it? Is it really a good thing? By the way, welcome to Ray. Ray was just jumping in. Uh, that's a thought Arsenal fan. So this question will go to all of you. Why I'm asking you this question is this, right? Arsenal have come very close. They're about to hit the promised land, or it looks like they might be like what's his name? They'll be like Moses, though, who will see the promised land but never enter it. We don't know. Or they might be like Joshua. They might go there. But the question is, if you had to pick one, because you have a very good chance of winning the Champions League, I mean, all you got to do is beat Bayern and you're in the semis. And once you're in the semis, you're one leg into the final if you play well. And if you're in the final, you can win it. So you can start dreaming, you know. I mean, I'm just stoking you guys a bit. Let me wet your saliva a bit. But if you have to choose between winning the UCL or winning the EPL, and the context here is very important because you haven't won the EPL, is it in 30 years? I don't know, 20 years, 30 years?
20 years.
20 years. Okay, sorry. Sometimes this thing seems so long. And I know you haven't won the Champions League since, since the beginning of time. So if you had to choose one, what will it be? Since Ray just walked in, I'll start with Ray. Ray, if you had to pick one, which
All
would
right.
you pick and tell me why?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Perfect, perfect. Hey, thanks for having me on the pod. I mean, in the context of this season, I would go for the Premier League at this moment. And the reason for me, it's Premier League is a marathon, and it basically ultimately starts with bragging rights in England with that, right? So, and it shows that consistently over the season, you're getting across the finish line, you are the champions in the country. So, for that reason, I would again, based on where we are today, I would pick the Premier League. Champions League, yes. On ultimately, anyone within that sort of bracket of quality of teams can fluke the Champions League, in my opinion, but you can't fluke the Premier League. So I'll take the Premier League for that reason. At this point where we are, see what things go in a couple of years, and we might have a different conversation.
Taliban's uncle, over to you.
Interesting. I think Ray is being too objective. Is being too he's being too, he's being too objective. As a subjective Arsenal fan, I'm picking the UCL because we've never won it before. We've never won it before. It's a very difficult tournament to win. And it's so annoying because you have to show more pedigree to win the league. Like Ray just said, you can't fluke the league. You have to be the best team in the country to win the league. It's a marathon over a stretch of 38 games. But the Champions League doesn't care if you have the best team. You look at a Chelsea team that won it in 2012. That team was like a lot of Chelsea fans were frustrated that season. They had sacked their manager, like they were a bit all over the place, and those guys came back and won. Like Chelsea won again with Kai Havertz leading the line. Not that Kai is bad. I'm just saying, like they didn't win it with you know, Drogba leading the line for them when they won it the second time, or maybe some top striker, right? So it's a difficult tournament to win. We've never done it. Look at all the pain we've actually been through trying to get that European pedigree, and you don't have it until you have it, right? So we need European pedigree. We're already established in England, and luckily for what Ateta has been able to do in the last 3 to 4 years is brought us back to the table. We are now a big team again. We are back to the top, and I think if things go to plan without any surprises or bad planning or shocking exits, I think Arsenal will win the Premier League in the next year or two, or in the next 2 to 3 years. I think that Premier League title will land. But the Champions League, there are no guarantees. You can be the best team in Europe and still not win it. So it's very frustrating. So I'll take that all day.
All right. I see. I see. We say why?
Hmm.
Do you want you want a big yes so that you can stop having been trolled about it and start being reminded of
See,
how. I mean, you
see,
have to jump over Bayern, so now they have to start reminding you of how Bayern. You people are
no,
Bayern's wife,
Bayern,
or you won the Premier
soft
League.
work. Don't worry about Bayern.
Ah,
I'm
okay.
more worried about
So
who we get next. Bayern is soft work.
oh god,
It's that
we're going
Bayern,
to clip
that
this. We're
one.
going to clip this.
Clip it. Don't worry. I fear no one. Clip it. Clip it. This Bayern. If it not be this Bayern, we should not be in this competition. This Bayern, this one that I watched yesterday. No. Anyways, that's by the way. For me, it to be UCL. Like Saliba said, we haven't won this competition in God knows. Arsenal has been existent for over 100 years. You know, and you're talking to other people and say, "Where's your UCL?" And the person like, "Oh, damn it, not this trophy again." You know, for the Premier League, the way our season is going, the trajectory we are currently on, at some point, Arsenal will win the Premier League again. But you see that Champions League, that so ever elusive Champions League. I need a star on the badge. This badge, I need one star on it. You know, at least let's start from there first. So for the league itself, I mean, if we don't win it this season, next year we'll go again, and I'm pretty sure we'll be in a better position based off of what I've been seeing in the last 5 years. The way Ateta has taken the team from scraps to now competing, to now going places. At some point, we would win the league, but you see that Champions League is only going to get harder. And I'd rather, and like you said, knockout competitions don't care about form. Just be good on that day, right? League form, yes, but knockout football, just be good on that day, and that's it. No one cares whether you're in good form or not. No one cares what your position in the league. Yes, I mean, but you know, come Wembley, I want to be seeing Arsenal against one other team, and whoever is clipping this, clip this. If we, by any means, shape or form, get to Wembley, we're doing it, because Wembley is like second Emirates. Go and check. Just go and check it.
Okay. I mean, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because you've just given us a lot of fodder from now to the end of the season. I mean, this is getting
Don't
clipped.
worry about. I
It's
fear
getting
no
clipped.
one. Don't worry.
I'm gonna say something. I like to look back to look forward. I'll say something. It's more important to win the league this season than to win the Champions League, and I'll tell you why. Go and look at the Premier League. Look at most leagues. There's a reason why managers don't win a lot of league titles. There's only a few that have won it as lot. A lot. Wenger in all his long career didn't even win more than maybe five or six. Coming all the way from Monaco till he left Arsenal. There's only a few guys. Sir Alex Ferguson, Pep, and then of course whoever was managing Bayern, because Bayern wins that league a lot. But in the Premier League in particular, it's very, very hard to win it. For all his genius, and with all due respect to Arteta, but n- n- Klopp is a genius next to him. Klopp has only won one. Arteta is competing against one of the best managers of all time, if not the best manager of all time, which is Pep. You do not have too many windows. The same burnout that happens to all managers, the same being found out that happens to all managers will eventually happen to Arteta. It gets to a point where other teams and other people adapt to him. Other teams will take players he wants. He has a small window with these players. The reason why Alex Ferguson was so good was because he was able to renew his teams. The reason why Pep is so good was he's able to renew his teams and then he has that money to be able to do it quick. Arsenal might not. You get to a point where you have to start paying the Sakas, the Martinellis 300K a week, 350K a week. So there's a window with that because guess what you have to do? You have to start losing some of them and going back to develop young players again. So Arsenal, it's more important to win that league because you can build on it. But the further you stay away from winning the league, the harder it becomes. The tougher. Look at how good that Liverpool team was, and they won only one because of how good City was. Now look at how long it's taking this guy to get. He hasn't been in the title race in almost 4 years. Klopp. So it's not as easy as you guys think about this team is going to keep developing. No. What happens tomorrow when Real Madrid comes and tells Martinelli, "Hey, come here. Like it's going to happen because you're either going to pay him that 350K a week or somebody else is going to pay him. These are some of the factors in football that you have to think about. So it's a little bit tougher. So I think it's more important for Arsenal to win that league now that you have a chance because you will then have a better chance of winning the Champions League later. I mean, you can win the Champions League, but I get why they're both important. So either one
Oh,
is
we can do
fine.
both.
To be fair,
Yeah, I can tell.
well,
Yeah.
you can be greedy, like I
And
said,
and
and do both.
if that
That's fair
if that
enough.
happens, just be prepared to shut down the forum because
Let's turn off the internet.
shut
Ah,
down the forum because
goodness,
we'll be
goodness.
doing this podcast
If
24 hours
Arsenal
running
wins, if
non-stop.
Arsenal wins the Champions League and the Premier League, that forum will not survive because that will kill the forum.
I think the
That will
internet will
remove
just shut down.
that will
Internet.
remove everyone from that forum, clean the forum up, tell everybody bye bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will shock you. I'm telling you.
I mean, it's
Um,
possible.
yeah, and I think just to add to your point, didn't mean to call you off, and I think I actually agree fundamentally the fundamentals of your
Ray, you frozen. Ooh,
cut off.
can you guys?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
start all over again. You froze, so
Yeah.
start all over
Oh,
again,
sorry about
please.
that. Yeah. No, what I'm saying is I fundamentally actually agree with your point in terms of building the blocks to win the league is the most important because then it's a springboard to future things. So let's if Arsenal crosses the line with the league this year, and you ask me the same question next year, I will tell you Champions League. And so I'm agreeing with your point about we have to build that building block to stay there because once you've won the league, when we win the Champions League, we know we have the quality, all those trauma of all the years of not being in there first of all, and then now we're there, we can say, hey, look, we're also champions. So now we're in even field with all these other teams, and at that point it's a knockout. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, let's go for Champions League. But right now, I want us to just cross and get that league first, and then I mean, if I had to pick, obviously I'm greedy. I want both, and I think it can be done. And again, I don't know if we talked about the game earlier or if we were going to talk about Bayern Munich, but yeah, especially after today, I don't know how we played. Bring on Bayern Munich. I'm actually not. I was confident, but then now I can see Arsenal playing a different style to get the job done. Because again, with Champions League, you need those different type of games as we saw with Porto and Bayern Munich. That's over the last two legs. So I'm actually very confident based on the way we handled City today in terms of playing a mature game. We didn't have to go gung ho because we can try to prove a point. It's like, hey, we just gonna want to just get across to the next round. So I'm actually very confident about that Bayern Munich leg, even more so after this City game.
Yeah, as an outsider, or as a neutral, oh my, how can I be neutral about Arsenal? But as an outsider, let me say as an outsider, I think Arsenal have a very good chance of beating Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are not a very good team this year. I mean, they've been relying so much on the Hurricane magic, and Hurricane has said that his legs instead of biting him. He's getting to that time of the season where he gets that his ankle injury. I mean, he's had it, and he might come back again. It's true to his form of getting those injuries at this time of the season. And if you take Kane out of that team is very ordinary. They haven't. There's been. I mean, they hired the wrong coach. The best way. I can't still get my head around firing Nagelsmann for Tuchel, but I mean, you make your decisions and you live with it. So Bayern has got to live with that. So if anyone wants to add anything to this, you can go ahead. I'll go around. I'll start with Saliba's uncle, get through AY, and then to you, Ray. Just your last tidbits before we move on to kudos and donkeys of the week. So, Saliba, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think the biggest takeaway for me today, like I said, was that we didn't lose, and this is the one tie that I hate the most. I really detest Arsenal facing Man City at the Etihad because in my head I was just think we always lose, and the reason we find them difficult to beat is because they play our game and they're just better at it. So they are very good on the ball and they know how to punish a fellow team that is almost just as good on the ball, off the ball. So the reason we have been more difficult to beat this season for them is because we just improved significantly off the ball. We went and got almost the best midfielder in the world off the ball. So that means that you can't transition. Like you literally have to catch him out for you to transition against Arsenal, and it becomes really difficult because Arteta is there just watching everything, so he knows what they're about to do. And if he places Rice at a reasonable proximity, he stops it. So that's why they have a problem with us now because we have that player. So it's not just the Rosy Arsenal on the ball, the Zinchenko's, the Partes, the Granit Xhakas. We have Rice now. We have the enforcer that's going to be part of that triangle off the ball to literally bulldoze his way, on challenges and get us that clean sheet. So yeah, Rice for me is the winner today.
AY, go ahead. You finish
All
your
right, so
touches for the game.
I'm just going to just change your what you said, Salibas. I'm just going to change a little bit. You said they play our game. No. Don't do that. We play their game.
Play
We
that
just
game.
play it a
Yeah,
little bit better. That's
I
how
was gonna
that's
say that.
how you phrase it. Then moving on. There's something I saw. You said?
Start again. You got frozen again.
Oh, no, I was saying that he said that Man City plays our game. I'm like, no, we play their game. We just played a little bit better. And there's something I saw on Twitter today that just made me laugh. Someone said, thank you, Ateta, for making this team play both haram football and halal football. You can. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, this makes sense. So that means what that person is basically saying is that we can mix and match when it matters. We know when to pick the poison. If it's when to go 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, we'll do that. If it's when to be very conservative as well, we will do that. I know Sky gave Saliba the man of the match, but for me, my man of the match was Gabriel. I mean, that guy was on business today. Like, you know, I think it's just nostalgia of watching games back in the early 2000s, how like the physical part of the game. And for some reasons they're trying to take that out of the game. And but you don't you have Saliba, who is the Rolls Royce, the one that plays the cute passes, very calm on the ball, and then you have Gabi on the other side. Gidigbo. Like anyhow you want to. If you want to, like physical battle is there. You want to play off is there. And I think that it just gives that defense that perfect balance between physicality and technicality, right? There's this balance between both of them, and then the way they just kept Haaland very, very quiet. But for me, my man of the match would definitely be Gabi. That man was on point. Even after the game, Haaland was like, oh more. I'm sure he's like, oh more. This guy locked me out today, man. You could tell from the way he was saying. I think there was one point in the game where I read Gabriel's lips and he was saying something along like "stop diving" or something like that when he was diving. So what he said was speaking to me in Portuguese. Like, we are always diving. I'm like, well, it is what it is. But you could tell that at the end of the game, Haaland could see that game recognizes game. Like, you had my number today. So just to finish off of that, I think what is something that you also said is that Man City now, we're now like a turn for them now. Like, this team, we just don't want to face them. They're just so hard to beat. So onward and forward.
Ray, go ahead.
Actually, I saw the end of Haaland and Pep and Gabriel. There's a little bit. First, it looked like it was going to be feisty, but at the end of the day, Haaland and Gabriel hug each other. And exactly what you said. Haaland's like, hey, you have my number today. I represent. This is not one of those days where you can bring your hair down and dance around Rob Holding. Those days are over. We're here. So that was actually pretty cool to see. Like at the end of the day, they recognize each other. And yeah. So what's interesting? A couple of pointers. And again, maybe you guys talked about this earlier. For me, was that we've come. At least Arsenal, we've watched where we've come so far. That I remember when we first got Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko. We were very excited. It kind of took us to the next level. Like, oh, we can get these guys from Man City. And we couldn't picture ourselves playing football without those guys, especially last season. And then come to this game against Man City, Zinchenko was probably third choice left back. Actually, that's how in terms of starting the game against Man City. And Gabriel Jesus, if Martinelli was injured, probably wouldn't have started the game. So it just shows how far we've come, in the space of a matter of years. And so that I say kudos to Arteta and everyone that's been, and again, the trajectory is just onwards for Arsenal there. So, and the one thing I would say as well, Thomas Partey. I would say I give him, obviously, Thomas Partey has been out for most of the season, but he got a bit more time actually this game, the last 20 minutes. And it's interesting because obviously Jorginho has been playing so well, but we knew Jorginho, his legs and, the legs killing him. But Thomas Partey, once he actually came on, again, maybe you talked about this earlier, you can see like Thomas Partey, if and when there's all these big ifs, on transition, he's still our best midfielder. I would say, again, we barely see him these days, but especially that end of the game there, one turn, he moves, all of a sudden the wide range is open. I think that chance that Trossard should have given to Martinelli actually came off Partey opening it up, giving it to Odegaard. And so Odegaard and Partey, again, if you remember from last season, their connection was just very, very good. So it'd be interesting to see how Arteta is going to manage the squad over the next couple of games, because I think if Thomas Partey can just give us like 5 games, that's all we want right now from now to the end of the season at the best that he can, while still complementing what we have. We would control, those midfields. And again, the Haram ball. I've never been so excited about Haram ball in my life today. I was like, I was well aware. I was watching Haram ball, and I'm like, okay, just make sure we don't lose. Like if that's what you set to do today, maybe and I'm like,
wait,
okay,
wait. I thought I won his only trophy with Haram ball. Why are you guys making it sound like?
But the difference though, I know you want to banter us. The difference is he had just picked that squad at the time. He was trying to figure out what to do. But at the same time, it's like, if I can nick a trophy, sure, why not? So of course, it was Haram ball in the FA Cup. And FA Cup's a bit different from league, right? So But as we've now been building something, because to sustain, you can't really play Haram ball to sustain sort of like winning league, and it's all about imposing yourself on the other team. So your point, of course, but FA Cup is FA Cup. But today I was like, hey, you got the point. Don't lose. That was the key. And I think it's, like I said, it's still wide open, and it's going to be a 3-horse race, which I'm excited for. And hope we'll get across.
All right, thank you guys. Before we leave, quickly, we're gonna do kudos and donkey of the week. You got any kudos for anyone this week? I mean, I know Arsenal fans are gonna give all the kudos to Arteta and his team. So, if you have different kudos, let me just give that kudos. Kudos to Arsenal. They did very well. They surprised all of us. They were supposed to lose at the Etihad as usual. I mean, City couldn't even get a proper shot in. So the 3 Arsenal boys here, they're giving their kudos to Arsenal and Arteta, Rice, Gabriel, Saliba. Did I miss anyone?
Oh my God!
I'm very salty. I mean, you're sounding very salty.
Dude, I'm a Manchester United fan. Am I supposed to be singing Kumbaya with you? I mean, like, come on.
Is it just me, or like other fans always have opinions before we even open our mouth? Then they'll tell us how we're thinking. I'm like, I haven't said anything. It's like, what's going on everywhere?
We've been listening to you guys talk for the past 20 years, so we know how you think. We know those of you that disappeared off social media that are going to come back.
Rent free, that's what it is. We've been living your heads rent free.
But to be honest, kudos to Mikel though. Kudos to him. Ray, let me ask you, how long did he spend in the trenches? So what I mean the trenches, like when he struggled, was it 2.5 years? Prince AY, was it 2.5 years? Like when we were struggling? Was it 3 or 2?
It was 3.5 years.
But
no,
3.
No, I think it's 2.5.
No, he should have been fired in the season of COVID. Season of COVID. That was
so it's still
1 year.
So how long has he been at
2.5
Arsenal?
It has been at Arsenal now. At the end of this season, will be 4.5 years.
At the end of this season, will be his 5th
4.5, right?
season.
4.5. He
No,
came
4.5.
half the season.
4.5. So 2.5. So
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 years. Yeah,
so
that's right.
So 2.5, we were in the trenches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now the third full season he competes for the league title. the fourth full season he's competing for the league title. If you take stock of that overall, based on
Are
the
you
fact
sure Ateta has not been here for almost 5 years? He was appointed in
no, no,
Ateta,
2019, though.
no, this is
Ateta has been
4.5.
there for
4.5,
it's
4.5,
4.5. At the end of this season, it'll be
4.5. It's
5.5.
not. Yes,
Oh,
so it's 4.5. So if you take stock of that, and considering the fact that this is his first full-time role as a manager, he's done a bloody good job. And even if we want to say that we've spent a lot of money, the ability to convince the owners to spend money is also very, very good. So that means they believe in you, and then you can convince people to invest in you to go and do a good job. That's also very good. So kudos to him.
Yeah, at the end of this season, it'll be 5.5 years. He came in
It can't
2019.
be. It can't be 5.5 years now, like 5 point something, because it was
Five
appointed
and a
December
half.
2019.
5.5. It was
Yeah, that's
December.
half
No,
now. December, from December 2019. Was it not, was it December
Yeah, it was
2019?
December 2019. Yep,
yeah,
yep.
December
So
2019.
2020.
so
So
it's four and a
basically
half
4 years.
years. Four and a
Yeah,
half
let's say
years.
four
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
half. Give or
yeah.
take.
My
Yeah.
math. Yeah, I
Yeah.
counted that extra
Yeah.
season. Yeah,
So a
4.5
guy
years.
a
Yeah,
guy with no experience comes in, spends 2.5 years cleaning up stuff that he needed to clean up, and now he's competing for the
bros,
league, legitimately
bros,
competing, right? So
bros. A
kudos.
guy with no experience won Champions League, won sextuples in
Like
the
I
second
said,
season.
you can fluke the UCL.
Exactly.
You
No,
can
no, I
fluke
said
it.
the guy won sextuple.
Huh?
Pep. Remember, Pep didn't have experience, so don't come and be
Yeah,
telling us
but
a guy
Pep is
with no
special
experience.
though. You can see
Yeah.
that's why he's here. That's why he's still
Yeah.
here. That wasn't a
I just
fluke.
messing. I just
You
messing
know.
with you.
I know,
I
I
just
know, I
messing
know,
with
I
you.
know. He was
That's the
no PE
standard.
teacher. He wasn't a PE teacher. You know.
Or a cold man,
Oh, come
like they
on, man.
call him.
um,
So, does anyone have any donkey of this week?
I would throw one out
Let's
real
see.
quick. Oh, go ahead, Prince. Away.
For me, we're doing donkey first, right?
No, we did kudos. We're
That'll
still
be.
doing kudos.
Oh,
Then
I still
donkey. So
doing
if you have a
kudos.
kudo, yeah, I thought you were all giving it to Arsenal. That's why we were trying to go to donkey. But go ahead. If you have
Yes, but my own kudos is going to the Arsenal female team for winning the Conti
oh
Cup.
god,
I know you guys might not know about that, but I don't know why they schedule the games at the same time as the City game, which makes no sense. But some of us that follow the female football, yes, we won the Conti Cup. I think that's the equivalent of
the League
Carabao
Cup.
Cup for the
Yeah.
female this thing, but any trophy counts at this point. So based off of that, that would be my kudos for the week. As for the
That's a
donkeys,
cool one. No, wait,
that
hold on.
that we
Hold on. Ray, do you have a
okay.
kudos? Hold on.
Okay, yeah. My kudos. There wasn't too much. Obviously, you've given Arsenal. I'll say maybe Brentford for not giving up after United thought they'd snatched the
That's a
win
good
there.
shout.
I think that
Yeah,
was because
you had to do that.
it was
Yeah.
like right.
Hey,
No,
I'm not
honestly.
sorry, Coach Ray, did you know that when United scored that goal, what was it called? Dead man walking was he went to the kitchen to go grab some water, and then by the time he came back, he saw the score 1-1. I just
That's okay. After this season, he'll have enough time to be getting water from the kitchen. So he should be practicing that. Should keep practicing that. He will need that.
Oh man,
oh
but
man,
no,
I had to get
but
that.
like seriously though, like if you think about it, like Brentwood like hit the post like what 4 times, and United did snatched it and within 2 minutes.
2 times.
So 2 times. So but there's some good saves going on. Anyway, so I would give him kudos just for that because it was very easy. Most teams would have said, okay, they snatched it, give up, and walk away. So kudos to them for that.
You didn't give Burnley kudos for playing with one man down and not losing and coming back twice. You didn't give them kudos.
I
for
mean,
that.
they were my second. If you want me to go down the list, like the donkey, we can
Please,
go down the list of
who's your
shout-outs.
donkey, Prince Ewa? Please, enough. We've had enough. Prince Ewa, who's your donkey?
I mean, there are a lot of candidates there. There are a lot of candidates. Manchester United. I mean, this on my list to just going to. I mean, there's
Just give
haram
up one,
football, but
please.
there's another level of haram football. I mean, for the first time in a very long time, I actually decided to watch United's game. And my God, you guys are trying. That the ball was horrible. It was crap to watch. What was even more frustrating for me was Rashford, and I'm like, this guy is now a big boy now. He started feeding boys now. Started feeding children. Doesn't know how to play football anymore. I was watching the ball, like when they say you are seeing the game happen right in front of you. That was what Rashford was doing. The game was literally like the bare minimum he can do is to press the guy in front of you. But Rashford's just like, I'm like, what is going on here? There is no desire. There is no effort. I mean, I can respect a team that lose gracefully. I can respect that. But the bare minimum is effort. But anyways, that's by the way, that's just my candidate. But for me, the donkey of the week will go to West Ham. Like, what was that? Like, how do you bottle a 3-goal lead? Like, how do you do that? And what's this guy's name? Calvin Phillips, for losing his head. Go to donkeys of the week, both of them, the West Ham
Was a two
and
goal lead though. Was a 2-goal lead.
3 goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
because
still
they
the
came
same
back
thing.
from 1 goal down. Yeah, it's close. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like,
it was terrible. It was just that guy should go and retire. I mean, I don't have good memories of David Moyes, but I think he should just go and retire. That guy, he's not a great
but but
manager as
but
far as
but
I'm concerned.
but when you look at it on the flip side, he's the best manager West Ham have ever had. He's their most successful manager. I
I
mean,
mean
you can look at it. You can
that
look
kind
at
of
it from
paints a
two.
good picture, right?
You can look at it from two aspects. Where is West Ham trying to be? What can they realistically achieve? You know, sorry to go too far here, but when we're looking at club finances, right? They sold Declan Rice. Is a generational player for 100 million. But what people do not understand is that it's actually going to, on the long run, it's going to cost West Ham more money to replace Declan Rice, because now you're having to spend money on 3 extra players or 4 more extra players. You have to pay 4 extra weeks. So when you look at it on that am I muted? When you look at it on that aspect, you will now begin to think, where exactly what direction is West Ham trying to go? Where can they reach realistically? And if you're looking at it from that aspect, you can say, well, based off of that, Moyes is the best man they can get right now. And he's the most successful manager in the last 50 years. He's won them a European trophy. Is keeping them, I mean, not too bad, not too worse. I mean, they're floating, So it
You
depends.
sound like
It depends
an
on.
England fan. Best manager ever. Best manager in the last 50 years. That's what England fans say. Some England fans say about what's his name? The guy that we want to
Southgate.
go to Liverpool.
Oh, you mean your new manager,
I thought it was
Southgate?
Man
Don't
United.
voice your new manager.
He's not coming to my club. God
Why?
forbid.
Okay,
I reject that.
let's look at this. Let's look at this objectively. What does Southgate? Why does Southgate not fit in? I'm not even trying to troll now. Let's look at it. Oh, like, why? It's not like you're doing anything that is spectacular. No. I sound funny, I know, but I'm actually serious. There are building blocks to how a club can be very successful, right? It looks like United have been rebuilding for the last 10 years. You bring in Southgate, it's just like, okay, you just want to start the rebuilding process. But where is United right now in their rebuilding process that's going to give you the right to reject someone like Southgate? I know it sounds like I'm trolling, but I'm not actually trolling. I'm actually serious. So for instance, look at Arsenal now. If Arteta is to go out tomorrow now, you can say, yes, you're looking at maybe a Pep level type of manager, even though they are not much, because then we have progressed a lot in our own development, right? But United, you only have one player that you can say you want to build off of, and that's Kobe Mainoo. And even that one is not even guaranteed. Maybe
Okay,
two
let me answer your
at best.
question. Since you're asking that question, let me answer your question in a very simple way, right? If Real Madrid, remember in the 90s, Real Madrid were struggling. No, sorry, the early 90s, Real Madrid were struggling and they had to rebuild all over. What did they do? Did they go and start hiring any Johnny Come Lucas just hired to manage the club? No. They were always looking at the best managers. They were still trying to sign the best players. And how did Liverpool and Real Madrid get back? They went and bought the best players available and built slowly, but by buying the best players and getting the best managers they could find until they got the right one. You don't just go and pick up any manager who's not a fit long term. With all due respect to Southgate, Southgate has managed great at national level, but managing at national level and managing at club level are two different things. At national level, you don't have the you don't have that luxury of saying, "Oh, I want this guy gone." And so, how am I going to replace him? Like you just talked about, oh, you've let Rice go. So, because you let Rice go, you have to replace him with three players and you have to manage the wages of three other players. No, at national level, all the simple, oh, Kevin is here. So, I'm dropping Calvin Phillips. All it takes is I'm going to call Calvin Phillips. Sorry, but you're no longer welcome. I'm sorry for that. It's that simple. There's no about, oh, let's manage the wages. Oh, I have a transfer budget. No, the players just go and play and you pick them based on form or whatever you're trying to do. At club level, we have to build everything. You have to build a team. You have to make decisions like the one Ateta made where you're going, oh, I'm letting David Luiz go and all of that. You have to do all these things and keep a club cohesive. It is not the same. Then Manchester United is a pressure cooker of a club. Apart from having been in the state that they are right now, that they have to start all over. There's always a lot of pressure on Manchester United manager. Manchester United is not Arsenal, with all due respect. They're not Man City. They're not Liverpool. They're not Chelsea. They're the club that even when they're doing well or not, they will always be in the headlines. It's the same way Real Madrid is. It's the same way Bayern is. That look at what's going on with Bayern now. All Bayern is firing managers and stuff like that. So even if Manchester United struggles for the next few years, going to hire Southgate would be like going to hire Moyes. Where is the pedigree in Moyes, in Southgate? It's better you go and hire a young guy, even if you can't get a Xabi Alonso. Go and hire a young guy. Go hire, for example, a Brighton manager. Go hire a manager from Italy who's done it. Then go pick up someone who you know you're taking a very big risk with. Arsenal were able to hire Arteta because Arsenal is not Manchester United, with all due respect. Arsenal were already at the bottom of their tether. Their fans had already given up. The club were going, okay, look, we're going to go and hire Young, and we're going to build Young all over again. But the pressure in Arsenal, I mean pressure, I'm talking about the outside pressure, the press pressure, it's not the same as Manchester United. It's actually not the same as any club in England. So you bring in this guy, they want him to win the league next year. Nobody's going to say win the league in 3 years. If you spend 200 million, they remind you spent 200 million. Nobody's going to say they're rebuilding the club. These are facts with Manchester United. So you need a guy who is larger than life, who can withstand all of this and not wilt under the pressure. I don't think that's Southgate. Look at Southgate when he was in Middlesbrough. What did he do there? So that's just me.
It sounds like United is looking for a unicorn, which you'll never find. That's what I'm
That's
hearing.
okay. Well, the thing with sports is you just keep trying until you get it. You just don't.
But we just don't want you guys to miss out on greatness, right? So that's why
Exactly.
give you the opportunity, give you the opportunity to sign a generational manager like Southgate.
Don't worry, we've got a CEO who knows the job, and next year we're gonna get a good manager.
So that's why they're putting plans in place to speak to this guy. They are going heavy on him, and this is a guy that is more experienced than Mikel Arteta. Don't forget, he's managed bigger players than Mikel within the last 4 to 5 years. He's been able to bring England together. He's been able to, qualify them for latter stages.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think this podcast has not turned to a trolling session.
No. Like
we spent over an hour.
I just think he is going to be really good for you guys, and he will help bring that British core together, right? You guys have that, that British centric way of looking at things. So Southgate will be perfect for that. A proper, English lad, who knows the country, knows the whole country very well. So he knows what to do and knows the players to bring through. He knows how to speak to the players as well.
Saliba, have you noticed that you're the only one who's not smiling right now? Everyone else is just
no. I'm not smiling because I'm not smiling. I'm not smiling because
I think the reason why he's not smiling because it's actually saying fact, and sometimes
it's facts, man. Yeah,
facts sometimes can be very funny.
Yeah,
the way you're presenting them, but he's right though.
Yeah, it needs to happen.
Okay, let me just what if it turns out to be the manager that you you thought you never needed.
Yeah,
Just what it is.
give him 5 years, man.
Because
5 years.
at the end of the day, if you look at it, what Manchester United needs now the most is stability. I think there's
Okay,
too
Ten
many
Hag
bad
is
eggs.
stability. Let's stay with Ten Hag. That's
No,
stability.
he appeared to be that stability, but I mean, a manager that cannot even take accountability for his own. Like I mean, yesterday the press conference was mentioning how Man City just came in and when they played Brentford, they barely won. Last week he was saying, the game that we played at Arsenal in September last year, still complaining about the game. I'm like, dude, focus on what is at hand. Those games have gone. If you can't even take accountability of what is even happening in front of you, how do you expect to run to manage a football club? Anyways, don't let this. It will not be fair if we turn this to a therapy session for you because it will not be fair. Having
Yeah,
three Arsenal fans, they're all alone. It's like God,
bro.
please let this podcast end.
But
But anyways, what's the
Southgate in.
next
Have you
Southgate
guys been
in?
saying? Have you guys been saying something? I stopped listening a while ago. What have you guys been saying?
Yeah.
See, like, I
Guys,
spend the one I spend a lot of time listening to Manchester United fans. I derive joy in like watching you guys, I don't want to say suffer, but because you guys caused me a lot of pain
it's
growing
okay.
up
What goes
down
around
the
comes
years.
around. I
So
remember.
I
It's not
I,
you.
I want Southgate to happen, and I'm gonna pray. This is Ramadan. I'll double my efforts and pray that it happens. And knowing Manchester United, it might likely do it. It might happen, and
There's one thing I know about prayer is God doesn't answer bad prayers.
don't worry. This
So,
one is good. This is a good prayer. It's going to happen. Get
all
in, South.
right, guys. Everyone, you have a wonderful week. Those watching, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Remember, it's Footy AD Fantasy on Twitter, but Footy Fantasy on YouTube. We'll be watching the title race closely. It will be Arsenal, Liverpool, or Man City. Or as I, a Manchester United fan, will say, "Can somebody shoot me dead, please? This is the worst season of my life." Have a good one, everyone. Bye bye.
Take
Have
All
a
care.
right.
good one.
Bye. Take
Thank you.
care.
Bye bye.